It's starting to happen now, because this is when you're married for about 10 years, etc. Yeah. Well, lokborega logo inside a marriage produces the roommate status that happens in the black community. That's what I would imagine is responsible to account for why there's no love or affection. But what causes it? I mean, if I had ended up married to that psycho beast that I was with for the longest time, that I would not have been with, like, I like to say to myself that I stayed in that relationship 4 years too long. Already I wanted to leave, but I was honest. In Tabora, if you don't get your act together, I'm gonna leave. And it was my honesty that got me Hlesad. It was my honesty that got me bewitched. It was my honesty that got me encircled in dreams by snakes. It was my honesty that made this man take my attempt at basically going through relationship therapy without the actual counselor. We will talk about it. Taking advice from people. Talk about it. Here it is where we talk about it. Then he understands my sentiments, how I'm actually feeling about this. If I did not get born again, I would probably be, I don't know if I would be married to him today, but I certainly would have married him at some point. I feel like I would have been a divorcee. And I also feel like I would have cheated on him. I never cheated on that guy throughout the relationship we were together. Mara, once you feel trapped in a marriage, that's the type of stuff that you would end up doing. When I was lost, I did not have any such big fat chunky convictions about adultery. I mean, of course, worldly people have got a loose sense of morality, so they also inherently demand faithfulness. So adultery is wrong even to them. But the fear of God is not something they struggle with. So therefore, the thing that stays us Christians from adultery, the fear of God, it doesn't stay them. They just run with passions. Guilt, disquiet about having a crush on a colleague and flirting with them is not stayed by the fear of God. They don't flee from sexual immorality. They don't gouge out their eyes if anything causes them to sin, or cut off their hand. They don't have an inherent awareness of an omnipresent God that can judge their deeds, and that also can endure them through exquisite ramifications for just capitulating to the flesh. They don't have the Holy Spirit to put to death the deeds of the body. All they have is their willpower to not cheat on their husbands or wives. That's not enough to keep a person from expanding on the passions that they feel within for a colleague. I had a colleague at MTN, worldly lady, however, always in the church, you know how it is. Yeah. And she was a project manager. She was a project manager just like me. And she had on one of her projects a resource from another country, Botswana. He was here temporarily for maybe like 3 weeks to basically consult on the project that she was heading. And the two of them hit it off. They basically developed what we call chemistry. And they were flirting with each other. He was a married man. She was a married woman. Children and everything, the whole nine. If anything, she had just given birth to a child. She had just come back from maternity leave. They hit it off. And she developed feelings for him. He developed feelings for her. Because he was in the country for only a few weeks, they literally had a discussion to basically consider booking into a hotel for a weekend. And having added, seeing as this guy's going back to Botswana, it's not going to be too much of a stumbling block for her. It's just a one-off thing where we andlulanje, hit and run, a drive-by shooting, and then uzobuyela ekhaya back to the husband. She said that she was deeply considering it to go and book into this resort with this dude over the weekend and tell her husband that it is a team building. The team basically. Some kind of a getaway for the company's team. That's what's good. For the team that she was working for. She was deeply considering it to a point where she came to me. It was before I got born again, so I did not have any morality that was inspired by the Holy Spirit at all. I was just running with supporting my friend. And she was like, oh my goodness, this guy, he makes me look at my husband like, I can show my husband, that was her look. She was like, every time I look at him, I'm like, ah. And because I wanted what was best for my girl, and she was out having these strong feelings, I was like, do whatever you feel is right. But then I remember being all concerned about Bana on some, but you've got 4 children, chick, and one of them is like really new. That's gotta sting. I mean, you're hurting a husband and some kids, but at the end of the day, you're unhappy. She wasn't unhappy. This guy, it's exactly like what happened in the movie Temptation with Judith. How it is that she wasn't necessarily unhappy with her husband, but then a guy makes her feel as if though there's something that she's missing out on. Yeah, this dude rocked up and caused her to second guess her marriage, and she felt like her husband was super boring. And there was another dude that was actually invigorating the living daylights out of her, calling her, and the two of them just hit it off. They had chemistry, and she asked me, I really am deeply considering going on this weekend escapade, because this dude is gonna go back to Botswana. I'm gonna stay here in South Africa, and I'm not gonna ever see him again. So I mean, it's not like I'm trying to get a divorce. I just want to let loose. My advice to her was, do what you feel is right for you. After all, I was lost, right? She would never have asked me that once I got born again, because she would have known what my response would be. Because once I came to Christ, I was quite feverish for him. Yeah, well, she made a decision not to go. Basically, her conscience did right by her. It attacked her, but that is what happens with worldly people, right? You know what is right, you know what is wrong. The law of God is written on your heart, but you disagree about that being a thing. And so sometimes all you need is just the right nudge, the perfect circumstances, enough chemistry, enough spawning, enough energy between the two of y'all. Yeah. To basically just decide that for a weekend, we're going to do what we want to do. And then you'll go back to Canada and I will stay in South Africa. Never see the guy again, but you did what you call fun for the season. I would have had a myriad of experiences of that nature under that guy, because the same thing, you see, the reason why I could relate with her was because Nami, I was in a relationship like that, where she was like, I keep on looking at my boyfriend, my husband, and I was like, Lynn. There was a dude at Wits that I had a crush on that made me look at my boyfriend every time I looked at him like, I had a crush on him. And the reason why my eyes even wandered the way that they wandered was because, you know, go, construction work, go. I started the relationship really keen to finish this thing, to proliferate it, to essentially be glad and merry in a union with a man that I am in love with. But then he just dragged his feet along for so long that I started to salivate after men who are ambitious. And there was one at school in my lectures, and I had such a big crush on this dude that every time I would look at my boyfriend, I'd be like, yeah. So I could relate. Hence why I was not able to tell her, girl, what you're gonna do is wrong. Because I felt, Namuguti, I get to exploit the fact that I've got these passions for someone else. People in the world are like that. So I mean, really, I was already on thin ice outside of marriage. Once I married this dude, yeah, no, he didn't stand a chance. My ex did not stand a chance, Shem. And Satani, what is hectic, right? Once you get married, that's when he sends you all of these temptations. Like proper, as a single woman, you will be like the dude that has a crush on you. But once you get married, he'll start talking to you. Once you get married, you'll start having conversations. Once you get married, he will start running in the rain to hold an umbrella over your head as you are getting out of your car, going to your booth to get your laptop, and out here helping you along out here walking you to the lift. Once you are married, the same dude will be behind you in the queue, in the canteen, in the office, out here making small talk, speaking about how it is that I see you're quite healthy, you grabbed a banana and an apple, I need to get me some tips from you because I'm trying to change my diet. And you will have this like conversation with him, and all along this guy has had a crush on you but did nothing about it until after your honeymoon. Next thing, one thing leads to another, and you out here staying much longer than absolutely necessary in the office, chatting with a dude that you claim is just a colleague, knowing that you're humoring feelings. You are entertaining feelings. The devil is like that. Acute until just after your honeymoon. Next thing, they're all out there trying to talk to you. That's why you need to guard yourselves shortly after marriage. That's why the Bible says that guard your heart, for from it flows the issues of life. If anything cause you to sin, guard it out, cut it off, etc. All that jazz. So this guy, like Nami, I had a plethora of dudes with, that I looked at on some cause my ex nang bora. He got to a point when now I was literally like a periscope in a submarine, looking around to see for something. Nang bora. It got to a point where nang bora because he was dragging his feet. It wasn't always like that though. In the beginning, I was quite happy. But everyone that I was out here smiling with, you know, winking, not winking per se, but you flirted. Like, I was never a flirt. What I'm trying to explain is, among every guy that I used to look at like that, all of a sudden after I get married to this dude, whoa. Next thing, the same dude that of 2 years go officing was gonna start talking to me. And I would be like, dude, I just got married. Like, I just literally just got married. I just got, like, the kind of man that you would think, if at all you had spoken to me like this, I would have left my boyfriend for you. But now he's out here all up in your grill because the devil is invested in adultery. He loves adultery. So he will bring people that had guababa. All of a sudden, he will give them bravery to come and talk to you. But now you're a married woman. Which is why you need to make sure when you do get married that you marry a man you are besotted with. A man that you are, without any cold feet, you are certain that this is it. So that when the devil sends you some dude that was out here looking at you some kind of way in the complex where you stay, so that when he comes and tries to help you take out the groceries out of your car, you recognize the self-control that you must wear concerning him, because you are married now. You can help me take groceries out my car, cool, but my husband is coming downstairs to pick them up to go up. So thank you. I appreciate the support. Yeah. A man like that, when he's flirting with you, when he's out here holding an umbrella for you, when it's like pouring down rain, next time you bring a raincoat and an umbrella to ascertain that if he sees you in the rain, this time you got yourself. Now I'm set, I'm cool this time around, Temba, thank you. Got this umbrella, thank you. So that you can basically guard your own heart. Because that's just what people who are in love with their spouses do. You realize that you've got it in you to essentially fall apart in temptation. So therefore, you brittle the flesh. You put to death the deeds of the body. And you don't let some cute dude that is now strangely talking to you, now that you're married, you don't let him get to the point now of always just helping you along, having little small chat and wada fish paste, etc. When you're in love, you're not going to humor stuff like that, or you're going to work really hard on it. But when you're not, when Motokhalanza Obora 5 years and Kreshapi took like forever and a day to propose, to take out Ilobola, when a person was like that, it's going to be hard to resist, right? It's going to be hard to resist. So ngiyazbuza namhlanje ukuba nichadeni, what did you marry? Does somebody make you, like somebody that you were 5 seconds out, or like 5'2", getting on a train to another country, the way you were so done you were moving out? Did you marry a guy like that? Did you marry a guy that you have left dumped, guy 7? Did you marry a guy that even on the day that you got married, there were issues outstanding, man, that he was just not addressing, he was not getting around to? Did you end up married to a person that you had to pressurize grandchild to take out a malobola? For years you were asking him, like, Yemi ala day, see me see trouble, when are you gonna marry me, yo? See me see trouble, you best to marry me, yo. See, we've been dating for many years now, you want to leave me for lobola. See me see trouble, you gonna marry me, yo. Today. Are you married to a guy ononzo mubuza year after year, month in, month out, week in, week out? Uzochata nini boy, because I'm not getting any younger. I'm sorry guys, we're taking in black community. Kemaswabi. Lenyalo cannot be the price, but it appears that it is. And my thing is, this has to be over. Because what is going on? What is happening? You are repeating the cycles of your parents, and like the way that this thing is so pursuing me, because it appears it has grabbed everyone else like a tsunami. It took everybody else like a tsunami, so now it feels entitled to me. You feeling gati, girl, you're part of a grain, you're one of us, you're also a black person, so you don't get to be special. You will then age we one, and I'm like, Yazine, if you want me to live in Pilo Flunganjena, to a point where now you are planning to marry me to some idiot or end up committing suicide, and then blaming it on my mom. Hi. If that's what you have determined is going to be the outcome, the status quo, Lana, it's alright. All I can do is conclude that I've got 24 reasons or 26 reasons as to why the rapture is at most by 2026. I gotta hold on to the fact that siyahamba, because you've made my world, my living conditions, my ecosystem freaking apocalyptic. But then again, the wicked have just had a history of making our life such a living nightmare that everything appears so apocalyptic to us. So one of two things can give here. If the rapture is not happening soon, God must necessarily rescue me from the futility of the black community. Next thing after 10 years of marriage, you say jabu fela. I'm sorry. Whatever happened to Babe? Whatever happened to Juju B? Like, I don't want. And I know that this is what I felt like. I desired it when I was a kid. I don't want the coldness and the aloofness that dwells in the black community. I don't want to not love my husband in front of my children. I don't want it to get to a point where however, kids know that these are our parents and that's all they're content with. That's all that they are content with. Where I divorce, tumbleweed, it's just rolling around. Ngoba uKarabo uchade indoda that she told for 4 years. See me see trouble when I go marry me, yo. See me see trouble, you best to marry me, yo. See, we've been dating for many years now, you want to leave me for lobola. See me see trouble, you go marry me, yo. Today. You are just telling a dude that today. Or if I want to, this guy of mine, by the way, nang ravaza kabo hectic making like a sloth on the street, despite all of his indiscretions. Ngoba abafazi vele bathanda umchato kangaka. They see me trouble. It's not like I was so disquieted with all of his activity that I didn't want a marriage. Like this dude, if he had proposed to me, I was gonna say yes. Was I sick? Was I crazy? I was. Because kunjalo in the black community wonke umuntu is just spinning around on the spot and gotta get dope. Do you understand? In the black community, it's just a malarkey, some kind of anarchy. It's just chaotic. Guy, guy, all very severely disquieted about. You are gonna wanna get basically a wedding ring from someone that has got the issue. I can see guy. Haditlo solviwa. You're just going to find someone co-officing that fits all the things that you feel you want in a man, and now you're going to become that random home-wrecking rando. Now utloba chirele ya go bora, ya go cheata mo monneng, or ya go di alawa go ba nyatsi o le mosadi ka banga. There are women today in 2024 ba leng dinyatsi tsa married men, even though in and of themselves they're married to other men. I mean, I don't even know how that dichotomy works, yo. If as a married woman you cannot have empathy towards another married woman to not have an affair with her husband, you are living in the last days. You are 2 Timothy 3, lovers of self, lovers of money, boastful, proud, blasphemous, disobedient to parents, despisers of those who do good, truce breakers, abusive, incontinent, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof, always learning, never coming to a knowledge of truth. Unthankful, unholy. You're just basically wearing a severity of moral turpitude. You just have such you are emotionless, man. On the next, if man, how would you feel if a woman rocked up here? But that's again, the 2 Timothy 3 last days people have an ability to sympathize, empathize, feel for another person. Because of an increase in lawlessness, the love of many grows cold. So you are Nyatsis alongside, what do you call this? You are Nyatsis alongside getting bereaved wives at the same time. You are battered wives alongside Nyatsis. Like you are both the afflicted wife and the afflictor of another wife. In one sitting, it's a cesspool. It is no wonder. Like I just, and now I am being told to take this Karabo because kunjalo in the black community, and I'm like, yazini lingotla ling clap ling trap ling rava zal kata mo ling khela mo ga o dropo ka letlalo laka ka taba gore ke motho montsho ling borela taba gore I was born among you mara nna ntho le ling yona I'm sorry, as a life. This is not a life. So if at all this thing is not going to result in the rapture, gushkuti usomandla kwamela ngibulale ke, I have to die. Like I have literally got to die. But one thing that is certain is that dream on if you think dream on if you think that umma wami uzoblame for my suicide. What you need to understand is that I will have communicated, spoken, ke rasitse on a rooftop. Hore boloi ba satane ba di satane tsena ba itjoditse gore ba tlong gatsetsa. They are going to freeze my life and make me feel like there's nothing coming for me. Ha gona motho o tlong ratang. Go ba Antarctic. It's going to be a cold front njengamimichato yenu nabafazi benu eningabathandi vice versa, etc. Until I eventually settle. And I told you the other day, fast and furious before I will take umfazi in my stride as a friend. Ongloileng, because in the black community we are just hanging out, breaking bread, and freaking exchanging pleasantries at Preemie PRT or at Mug and Bean with people ba re loileng, because ho jwalo le ploma le batho ba le loileng, le ploma le batho ba divorcing wena le monna hao. You are out hanging out le chomi e go stabileng mo bagging e go ntsaetseng one job promotion e business ya gago until you went back to corporate South Africa. You hang out with people that put you in a position to suffer excruciatingly, even though no ba sola. You keep on reconciling di chomi tse bodileng jwalo, and then having drinks, toasting champagne, hey, breaking bread. I was just saying, Mama, I've missed you. It's been 2 years. Yo, anyway, so banjani abantwana bakho. Umuntu wakhona ukuthakathile ukuthi ulahlekelwe yi-business, like I said, until you went back to corporate South Africa. But you are out breaking bread with them. If mina, I must take that in my stride. If mina ngizobloma nechereng njalo. She came in between me and my marriage prospects until I ended up a baby mama of 3 different baby daddies. If umfazi ungithakathe to a point where now today I'm a single mom without a husband. Or now today, I am a widow because ungibulele umyeni wami aka human sacrifice ritual ebe nna ke ignore tore modimang fileng yona. If at all, nna ke tlo bloma and break bread, like I said. Nomuntu onjalo ngamini ngashona. I would rather die than hang out nomuntu ongithakathile. I've got too strong of a spiritual gift, and what's worse now is that ke banna ba batlang ho nyala. Ke tseba ntho tse ba di entseng. Setse ke tlo nyala le monna first and foremost uthwele. Secondly, uyangidlisa. Untshasankare ke lesea, ne? Ke dula nna ntse ke nwa mogoto wa hae inside orange juice. I am forever eating his pubic hairs inside a little Oreo space cookie. Ke dula ke jisiwa his seminal fluid. Ke dula ke jisiwa the period blood tsa mosadi sa motsebeng from the occult or the oletseng sangoma ya mofa yona in a little bottle. Ha re kata mo aba itshela mo hara gravy. I fuduwa aba e be mo plating ya ka are baby, this is for you. I cooked for you tonight. Indoda ezongidlisa engathi mina ke lesea. Ebe ke tbenyala. Yo guys, ke tlo nyala motho on controller ya botlhoko ha kana ka ditlhare. Nkampane ka tlhokafala. Do you see why lifu le betere? Ngamane ngazibulala ngeshilo. But herein lies the deal. I also went to the Lord ngamncenga ukuthi please don't let this result in my suicide noma ngingadepresswa indaba yokuthi banginandele emuva. Bangikwaletse di gate kaofela all around. Ba batla foster friendship from women, bangibehliseditse career kaofela mara ba batla ba dichomi tsaka. Hape ba batla ngedisa monna o tlong jesang di pubic hair tsa hae throughout a marriage. They want me to just take that in their stride because I get that that's the black community go jwalo. Lenyetse batho ba ntse ba le busy ba grinder di Oreo ba di sprinkle mo desserting. Oreo ya teng mara ena le seminal fluid. That's who you marry to. Bayandlisa kabuhlungabi. Bayandlisa wankutwa. Hape upisa nzalo ya mo left and right wa lora wa mona mara hana taba. Because apparently allegedly there's nothing else left for you. Ba itjuritse hore batlo batisa bophelo baka. How I got them blame mme waka for not caring for me. My mom was originally responsible for hurting me at first, but she will not have been responsible for hurting me at last. Ke tla be ke lateletse morao ke bana bang batlang kankana ba batlang ho nyala kankane ba batlang ho lo lahlela ring on my finger kankane. Motho a teng ang preparetse concoction mixed urine ya gage seminal fluid alongside some of his blood inside some like Bloody Mary, virgin Bloody Mary drink. In other words, some tomato drink that looks relatively innocuous. And Garafella, he's made me a cocktail that's virgin since I don't drink alcohol. About baby, this is for your 41st birthday. I wanted to prepare for you this. Here's your cake. In a little sparkly thing on the side. Eben nakitono a Bloody Mary that is indeed literally bloody. It's literally got his blood in it. It's got literally it has got bodily fluids in it. And I'm out here drinking and thinking my husband loves me. Guys, I'm sorry. Ke maswabi. Ke a lora la nkutla ke a lora ene ditoro tsaka di very detailed. Ha hona tsela. There is no way that I would ever be fed seminal fluid inside like frosting. Yeah, red velvet cake. and not dream about it. Jaanong a se jonong o tlo jwetsa monna hore ke bone hore o entseng abuti. Motho a tshetse diqanqane ko jarateng, a tshetse ditlhare that represent spirits, evil spirits that look like frogs. Mo jarateng to make sure hore ke controlega inside jarata ene hape hona le dintho tse tshwantseng di sa kene tse ding di tshwantse di tswe. Ha ke tseba hore ho beilwe a satanic conduit mo jarateng, moya, disanta, sand and some kind of funny little ornament ya go decorate. Ke tseba hore vase ya teng ke conduit ko ntlong. Ke tseba hore monna o busy o ntshwere poho ka something I can tseng mo selengeng ko jarateng ko ntlong. What makes you think hore na ke tlong ka steps case ke lo e batla ntho ha ke e thola ke montsha ke re Jabu, what's this? Abato tshwara mo tlogela mo. I told you I had a dream once of me being married and me and my husband opening dintho, like opening our possessions ko garageng ko ntlong. And then I found inside my box occult paraphernalia. Me finding out on the day after returning from honeymoon that my husband is still involved in the occult, because here's his occult paraphernalia in a box. I deny. I had a dream like that some months ago of men out here trying to conceal boloi ba bona until they have finally married me. And immediately. Immediately. And with granular detail. And even people who do cloaking spells God is that protective of me. Besemina, just for the sake of having some kind of peace in my life. Your chatting daughter that does that to me. Kidula nzeke barapela over everything. Everything njefela. Ake dijo. Sometimes kina longa something from fridge njefela kivele ke lahle mo molomo. Keje. Over everything without even with proper everything because I'm so kimaswabi I'm funukliswa mina nyanyanya. Do you understand? I ke batle go jisiwa and I ke tlo ploma hape le di cherry tse lo ileng career yaka ha ke tama batla go gaslight. Like I said, I see they've been cooking with gas. I batla gaslight that delude my sense of reality about this thing that's happened over here. Bese nyoploma naye angithathele business yami yonke, my baby that I raised from the ground, that I went and grabbed my first $1 million and invested in it. Yaphiseka yonke le project yonke, everything is in the ground, it's been buried. Umuntu okhona ugupe a hole at a cemetery to put my business there. So ngilahlekelwe $1 million yami yokuqala. Top of that, 20 kilo sebenza 9 to 5 again and take you all 45,000 rand salary every month when I'm supposed to be a millionaire. That's what's good. Ebe ke lo ploma lo muntu ongenza that. Benyo ploma lo muntu ongenza that. Yes, like Mutwatenyo of which was the one to connect me with project management. I give my swabi guys. I am freaking apologetic. Like I'm sorry. I am not going to do it. My dreams, my spiritual gifting is too pregnant. Kibona everyone. So I'd be bombarded with horror, with terror. I would get institutionalized. I would end up in a psychiatric hospital. If at all I ended up that I just keep on going for lunch with. And if I end up married to a man that keeps on, like I said, feeding me his seminal fluid in a freaking space cake, I'm not doing it. Mara, ba itulitse ba tlong khatsetsa. Ke be ke nke that thing. Manje, a world like that, I have begged God to spare my life. I have begged God not to let me go out like that. And I have sought the Lord's face time and time again. Are we really at the end of the world? Because people have been thinking that for a minute. Is this really over? Because if at all it is over, I can hold fast another 2 years like I can. I can hold on another 3 years. For the rapture to happen. But if the rapture is not happening, heart attack, something. Lightning strike, an aneurysm. Take me home in a way that is dignified. Don't let me kill myself, because you know that I will never take anything that these people throw in my direction, coupled with the fact that you are God. You are God. You could just stop this nonsense. If at all the world is still going to go on for another 50 years, you could just divorce me from the black community. If this world is still going to go for another 50 years, you could just take me out and feel like you or ke lo kopana le batho ka montle ka mole banka khona ngo ba tshepa la ntse ba ile batho ba bantsho like umuntu that I can have lunch with, and the next day angizo find out ukuthi ungidlise something in the cupcake. Umuntu that is going to say Karabo, I love you, ngazi ukuthi vele vele uyangithanda umngani wami. Kitseba motho o never nentse ke mo lora ke mo bona ntsa etsa dintho ha ke mo confronta abang gaslighter, and then abare ai khale Karabo ntse accuse everyone wa hlanya. If at all this world is still going to carry on and on and on, Modimo o tla ngfa batho ba etsang sense. He will give me people that make sense. He won't let me linger in all of this travesty and sorrow. Mara ko morago ke tla be ke sile a trail of cadavers of the Satan in the black community. Ba tsaileng rubbish in their stride because it is better ukuyodliswa ama-spakes cookies in a marriage than ukungachati at all. But you see, just the fact that kunjena amidst us, where people have gotten off flee to either other races or they have to live in the diaspora, ba lo dula ko Europe, or ba ska tlo dilwa a bad bloke African witchcraft, when the world is this horrible, when things are this terrifically gangster, it has to end. And from what I saw in my dream, it is ending. But then again, have we not been dreaming about the end for a minute? David Wilkerson got end times dreams when he was still very young and alive. He died an old man in a car accident. And today he's only ever going to see his prophecies be fulfilled from heaven. So, Gyalora got the end. Gyalora tribulation, Gyalora your demise. Mara, the sad thing about having a prophetic gifting is timing. You are never really sure if God is doing it tomorrow or in 10 years. But all I know is that if he's doing it in 10 years, something is going to give me relief from Hlongwane. He will not let me commit suicide, and he will certainly not let me break bread with a friend. I'm not going to do it. It's your lives. It's what you guys do. Mina, and futhi, the fact that people are trying to blame my mom for my attempted, like, suicide, and then cause my mom to take the heat for when they were the ones that manipulated things so as to ascertain that I go nowhere. But they will have made it look like my mom is so negligent. And among the people that are doing such spells as these is my freaking uncle. Her own brother is doing this, creating a contingency plan for himself where she will be looked at as, while he will have contributed to the mutiny against me. That's just how poignant my spiritual gifting is. Kibona even strategy sa ho blame a man later on. Agoy bulai, especially considering it appears now I gotta stay alive for the sake of my mom, even though she does not deserve it. She does not deserve any protection from me or from God, because she's broken my heart. But she also does not deserve to be blamed for crimes she did not commit. I'm gonna stay alive. And God is gonna keep on showing me what's going on. Mabane ke lorile some dude as I'm happy. Some years, guys, like, I don't know what time it is right now, but I gotta go and take a shower. I dreamt about some dude that I told you guys some time ago already. I met him at Wits University. He was a closet homosexual, still is. Nah, he wasn't a closet homosexual. He was completely out. I'm not going to give you the complete story of this guy. He was out. I had a crush on him, but I came to learn Uguti, he's probably batting for the other team. This dude, it turns out, I was the one woman that he had a crush on or whatever. He's been following me for years, ever since. I thought he would leave me alone ever since the last prophecy about him that I gave, but he didn't. He has a crush on me. He has contracted HIV because of his dalliances all up in these streets. That's the first problem. Alright? He has been experimenting with women because he doesn't want to be gay. All this time he hasn't wanted to be gay. One of those out homosexuals, but that would really like to be straight, because he made an observation that life just works out better straight. I don't know, whatever. Okay? This is a gay guy that has a lot of ambivalence. And in my dream, he caused me to have feelings first and foremost. Alright? And then he proposed marriage to me. He had just impregnated. He's been experimenting with women, a white woman. And he had made this white woman promises from here to Timbuktu. So prior to impregnating this woman, so basically this woman is out here pregnant with HIV, because this guy is HIV positive, unless of course she was taking PrEP the whole time. Whatever, I don't know. But he impregnated her. He was experimenting with her, right? Women, because at the end of the day, even though he's gay, like a little bit of a sumizi, this dude went and impregnated a white woman, and he made her big promises about how it is that I'm going to be there for you and the baby, and I'm probably going to marry you. He wanted to get married to a woman, not a man, even though in South Africa it's legal to marry homosexually, okay? He's a South African dude. He wanted to marry this white lady, but could not stop thinking about me. and then decided that he's going to play Christian for 5 seconds. And then in my dream, he literally told me, please give me time to learn about Jesus. Look, I don't mind giving people time to learn about Christ, but you don't get to rock up in my life infiltrating as a Christian when you are not trying to spark up a romance of sorts. He kept on looking at me like I'm too extreme or whatever in my whole thing with Christianity. This dude has a history of Christianity when he was on the come up. Like when he grew up, he was raised Christian, but then he tarried like many kids, right? He has been trying to get back to his Christian roots, but he has been distracted by the world at large. This dude joined a cult long ago, and ever since then has grown up the ranks quite prolifically. And he is actually quite big. He is like ranked. He's high ranking in the occult. Thank you. That's the word that I'm looking for. He is high ranking in the occult. Okay? So he doesn't dance around. Despite his high rank, my ministry, which is something that I will at least give him, has convicted him strongly of the things of Jesus Christ. And so he has been basically appearing to respond to the call of God on his life, and has been with 1 foot in the world and 1 foot in the things of God. He has a genuine, I will give him that much, interest in Jesus. He has a genuine interest in Jesus, and he is genuinely tired of the occult. Remember, this guy is extremely high ranking. So there are exquisite ramifications to leaving the occult for somebody that high ranking. They tend, with people that high ranking, there tends to be something that they can hold over their heads that will utterly decimate their reputations, their lives, and everything if they walk away. So this dude is navigating his way around this occult organization, knowing as well that it gave him much of his wealth, it gave him his money, it gave him his high ranking, and he has made quite a lot of money for himself now. So essentially, since the last time I saw him at Wits University, he's done really well. He's quite successful, right? So this is a dude that's out here just 1 foot in the world, 1 foot in Christ. He's, like I said, genuinely keen on the things of God, but he is also scared to leave the occult because he's holding on to his wealth, and he's also scared of what they're going to do to him, what they're going to expose. And on top of that, he's thinking about the secrecy pact, the little privacy clause, the thing that they swear them to secrecy. They swear them to secrecy. He's busy thinking about that little secrecy clause or secrecy pact, and how it is that if he came out with that, he has made observations of people that have tried to leave, and it didn't end well for them. He's been listening to my content concerning people who are dwelling in such hard knock cults, and actually my last video from this one, I was talking about such people who belong to these cults and want to leave, and I gave them a strategy, an exit strategy, right? Ever since that video of the exit strategy, he has been thinking that, okay, maybe I will take your counsel concerning the exit strategy from the cult Karabo, but I want you. He has told himself that he wants me. Even though he said long ago for his HIV first and foremost, lay his little Gorobela spell. Secondly, Letengi, Binaya V. Bozeman. I keep on hearing it on a loop. What is love if you're not here with me? What is love if it's not guaranteed? What is love if you just up and leave? What? Basically, these guys bang lawyer from a distance and then stand back to see what's gonna give. Like, none of them would ever write me. None of them would ever email me. They're waiting for me to compromise in some way, because herein lies the deal. If I do something compromised, then they can come in without manifesting demons. I spoke about that the other day. Right now, I'm too hot, too feverish, too prayerful, such that if they would try to climb into my space, the manifestations of demons of them would be so exquisite that at the same time. So they're waiting for me to settle, to compromise, to do something unseemly. But I may say that, So hence the song, What is Love If You're Not Here With Me? Umuntu trying to marry me. Mara is keeping a distance because I'm still too hot for Jesus, for him to come into my space. And you want to marry Umfazonjalo. She will pray you into a crisp. Do you understand? Anyway, whatever. This dude, from a distance, it's another attempt at this. He's trying again. About 7 months ago, he tried. He is trying again, and the thing that's making him try again is, yes, the video that I did last, but also the fact that I linger, I stuck too much to him. Like, but in all of this time, I get in all this time, what do you call this? He wants to leave homosexuality. He doesn't want to be gay. He's one of those people that has homosexual feelings but doesn't want to be gay, right? This guy does not want to be gay. So ever since wanting to experiment with the things of God, and recently he's been busy with a white woman, okay? And however, in a worldly way, he's not trying to be godly about it. He's just experimenting with women to see if he cannot develop a full-on affection for women and basically just leave homosexuality altogether. That's where this guy's at, all right? He's like Will from Will and Grace in terms of his homosexuality. In other words, he's not one of those flamboyant homosexuals that are like Somizi, that are also quite effeminate. He's a very manly looking gay guy. You would never know. Hence why I had a crush on him back in the day. You would never know that he's gay. He's a total alpha male. Anyway, whatever. So he's having an affair with a white girl. He impregnated her, right? And he made her lofty promises like he was going to be there or whatever. But recently he came back to my content, because I get for a season. He came back to my content and then was like, I really like this chick. In fact, I love her. Like, I have actual feelings for her in a way that I'm struggling to have feelings for other women. I don't see why this is not viable, because I am an age-appropriate man, so he's like older than me by a couple of years, maybe like 1981 or whatever, right? Or maybe even 1979. He's an older guy. He has not, when he first happened upon my content, he had no children. He had no kids. Okay, basically all the things that I've said, I'm waiting on God for. A guy that has never been married, does not have any children, and is age appropriate. This dude was that, but I mean, he had to also be godly, coupled with the fact that I give out a guy that is out here like in the occult, for crying out loud, right? Literally his closet homosexuality, he hasn't resolved that. Yeah, all that jazz, whatever. Okay, some of his stats are cool, but some of his other stats aren't. And yes, there was a time when I had genuine feelings for this dude, but he has ever since then ranked up quite haughtily in the occult. I did make mention of the fact that God was actually calling this dude, is actually interested in this guy, but this guy is busy dancing around and playing games. And Otto Limala at this particular juncture, he wants Christ, but he's playing with fire now. He is playing with extreme fire because he's becoming like my uncle in his thought process. And not just my uncle, but the guy that I call Tepang, that is telling himself, no one is going to have her if it's not for me. Coupled with the fact that, let the mom be blamed, blah, blah. Right? This dude was on that tip now. On some, I don't want this chick to commit suicide. And basically just impoverish, like her life must be cold until she takes what I have to offer her, because I want her. First price is for her to settle with me. But if she dies, her mom will be blamed. Like, literally, they're trying to blame my mom for my suicide. The way that these people so think I'm dying. They want to blame my mom for my suicide. Anyway, whatever. This dude, in the dream, then rocks up, all up in my grill, and sits in front of me, facing the opposite direction. I wear black clothes, like, he looked like a vampire, for crying out loud, like a cloak that was tall like that. Kolayating. And then he looks at me, seeing as I was, like, right behind him. And he's like, will you marry me? As soon as he said that, I developed these strong feelings for him, which tells me Korobela right there. And I was like, yeah, of course, I love you. No, I don't. Anyway, whatever. Then he was like, okay, cool, then you're my fiance. I will take care of my baby mama and the child therein, but you're my wife. And I'm gonna move you, listen to this. I'm gonna move you to London, to the United Kingdom. I'm gonna move you to the United Kingdom, to London, where I am based for the larger majority. And the two of us are gonna live out the rest of our lives there. We're gonna leave South Africa. And I was like, whatever, you're my husband. I'll follow you wherever you go. And then after that whole scene, oh, never mind that, right? So he says that he'll take care of his baby mama. His mom, not his mom, sorry, the mom of the woman, the mom of the baby mama. So this white chick, okay? There's a white chick that he impregnated. And she, in my dream, looked something like 6 to 7 months pregnant, but I didn't really see her. I only had a vision within a vision of her. The mom was busy following this guy around on some, how dare you just leave my daughter out on a limb like this? How dare you break the heart of my kid like this? Like, you made my daughter pregnant, and now you're trying to marry another woman. What's going on with you? The mom was out here rapping on in his ear, and he was busy rebuffing the mom on some, leave me alone, I'll take care of the child. I'll take care of my kid with your kid. I'll take care of my kid with your kid. I'll take care of my kid with your kid, but I'm marrying Karabo, just leave me alone. And this mom just kept on being in his ear about the daughter. So essentially, this woman that he impregnated, her mother is all up in his grill for being irresponsible with her, because he has not stood up to the occasion, essentially, concerning this woman ever since he impregnated her. He was there all over the show, and frankly, even part of the family, looking like Usirase got this woman. And then next thing, she falls pregnant, and he acts like a typical black man and out here ghosts the living daylights out of her. And then following which, however, once the mother was hassling him, he was like, I will take care of my child, and with your child. I will take care of my child with your child. But please, I'm marrying Karabo. And in the dream, I appear to be content with that. I told you, I don't want a guy that has a kid. And this dude has, ever since the last time he listened to me, gone on right ahead to go and make a child, and so worsen his own stats. And he wanted me to take that in my stride. Coupled with the fact that he wants to move me and him to the UK, while this chick is from South Africa. Like, this woman that he's made a baby with is here. Or actually no, I don't know. I stand corrected, but I got a vibe that Umona, she could be in the UK, because he is largely in the UK, in London in particular. Maybe that's where this chick is from, right? But like, he went and dumped a white girl and tried to come and be with me, and in my dream I was content with that. He then left me isolated, Kiliwan, cold and frozen, and wondering, where's my fiance? And I got so lonely in this season, and my heart was so broken, and I felt like, but why has my mom left me to suffer like this? Like, I can't go anywhere, I'm so alone. And then all of a sudden he came back again and was like, hey, I said I would marry you, what's going on? So we're planning to get married. Yo, guys, long story short, the strategy of this guy is the strategy of many other men, the strategy also of my uncle, the strategy of the dude from America. He just wants to impoverish me and make me super lonely and make me feel like life sucks until I will take him and his bad stats. Not only is this guy HIV positive, I know that for a fact, he also now has a baby mama that he out here is giving a whole bunch of grief because he wants not to marry me. Like, you know, when you make promises to a woman and then you meet another one and this one is pregnant and you're like, look, I'll take care of the child, whatever, but I'm looking at her. He's like that. Indota, that insincere, that's out here playing musical chairs. That's the kind of stuff that produces ukubanda in a marriage. Korobela twitches and it glitches. Do you understand? Korobela, it short circuits somewhere along the way in the relationship. In other words, it's not real love, so it'll manifest in a person realizing that gets angmo. And that's why you end up with a roommate instead of with a lover, in a husband or a wife. It dries up later on. That's why you stop calling lerato wako baby, but then just becomes lerato. That's why Karabo ahao haisali sweetie, say just Karabo all the way up until she's 90. But it doesn't happen that way in other communities because there is literally no single demographic in the world more prolific with korobela, love juju, essentially manipulating people into marriages using witchcraft than the black community. The black community inorganically marries. And I don't know how many of us are tainted by these worthless relationships, but it is enough to cause there to be no PDAs in marriages. It is enough to ascertain that there is no affection between mom and dad, and that there is no longer even terms of endearment still communicated between lovers in a marriage. It's no longer happening because how morate moto ke spusiso, I sale darling, I sale my baby, I sale kunyalam, sale spusiso. Did you fetch the kids from school? Spusiso, did you buy bread? Spusiso, did you do the lawn? Spusiso, why didn't you bring down the toilet seat? Hi, sale baby, Mara. When you started dating, it was baby, 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 and every time you said Spusiso, you'd be like, why are you calling me? What did I do? What did I do wrong? Because the only time that you mentioned his name was when you were upset. But now it's his name. So Oskaba deep. That's what's good. This dude wants me. Let's say his name is Ntogozo. He wants me to call him Ntogozo one day, even though I started calling him babe. because o tlong bora ke korobela ke tla o etsang, coupled with the fact that ke busy nna ke kunya di ARVs because of you. You duped me into a marriage o tseba gore na ngolaza, coupled with the fact that you're not really born again, so you probably are still out there with gay men. Oh, na o tshwere mosadi o mo ratang mara still because you have that urge in you o tlo tsamaya le go ba le banna, the very thing e ke llelang that these guys go and they have sex with men in sex rituals in the occult, infecting them with a plethora of diseases. And so everything against Habang, this guy is that exact same thing. They lack reverence. Do you understand? Habana reverence. Uzi Jeluguti, he will just hold up my life. Capitalizing on Tabore, there was a time when I had feelings for him. But like, dude, you see, there's a thing. The feelings, di drain over time. If a person act bora, it becomes baby when I used to love you. There's nothing that I wouldn't do. I went through the fire for you, anything you asked me to. But I'm tired of living this lie. It's getting harder to justify. I realize that I just don't love you, not like I used to. La, 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 la. Yeah, I used to have a big crush on this dude and I would have left my ex for him. But I don't love him anymore. I don't have feelings for him anymore. Why? Because when they do things that cause you to just gravitate away from like basically to move on. I'm sorry, no. Aknata, that I used to have feelings for you. Bottom line is, Waloya, you are prolific in the occult, you're a satanic high priest, I'm a child of God, and you have broken me, you've hurt me, you've shattered me, and now you want to make me so lonely that I will take what you have to offer me, and you're also content with causing my mom to take the heat for my suicide. You don't love me if you want me to die, guy, or if you are content with my death because you are prepared for the ramifications, the potential ones of me killing myself because of how lonely you've made me. They've told themselves that they're just gonna freeze me until I either take them or die. And I've done a video of this nature before. So that's why, Lord, I mean, is there anything left, Lana? Because we've been saying it's the end for a while. But is it really? Is it really? Because every Christian has felt exasperated by the evil of their generation. If it's not the end, you have to get me out of this situation. But then the Lord gave me this for a dream. You know the guy from America? The little filthy freak? Ong patlang high and low, and now he's also HIV positive, and not unlike the guy that wants to take me to London for us to go and live in the UK. Hana even the means to take care of a woman like me. He doesn't have the means to even move over to South Africa, or me move each. And his witchcraft is not even as prolific as that of this guy that's high ranking, and it's also not as prolific as that of many other of these dudes. Okay, I had a dream of a desolate wasteland, it looked like Soweto, where I grew up. Komlezane, actually, just up the road. And it was dark, guys. It was during the day. It was dark like night, but it was during the day. And when I looked up, the thing that had darkened the sky was fumes, clouds. It was gases, toxins, smoke, when a bomb goes off and then there's the plumes of smoke that cover a sky until it looks like it's nighttime. Yeah, it was like that. It was like that. And it was also kind of windy. And mantlu, amang, the roof were off. Some of the houses were laying flat on the ground. There were peals of thunder, lightning, and the streets were desolate. Dirt rolling around in it, basically whatever can roll around the can, the tin, the pampiri, and it's like something had gone through there, causing mass death in that community alongside evacuation. It was just dark in the sky, even though it was maybe 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and the sky looked red. Birds were flying around, dirt rolling around, wind, And this dude was standing in the middle of this desolate place where some of the roofs were, like I said, off the houses. Some of the houses were flat on the ground, flattened like altogether. Some of the houses were still standing. Mara, you could tell that they'd been abandoned. Do you understand? It was a desolate wasteland. It was a dystopia. A dystopia. It was a dystopia. All right. And this guy from America was standing freakishly like a little bit of a Freddy Krueger. You know how super villains in horror movies are just be standing while you are running and yet they're catching up with you? This dude was like that. He looked like Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street, standing in the middle of this desolate wasteland. It's next when you look around, all right, with no people other than him. And he was standing there at Hlongwane, a newborn baby, saying, Karabo, this is our baby. This is what you could get if you come with me. Yo. He was holding a baby in the middle of this desolate wasteland, saying to me, this could be our first child. Yes, I just stood there looking at this guy in my dream, and guess what happened next? Something came from out of nowhere and decapitated the baby's head while this guy was still standing with the baby. Like a projectile just came out of nowhere, foo, 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 decapitated the baby's head. And he continued to stand there holding the baby, saying the same thing. This is our baby. This is what you could get if you get with me. That was God showing me these little idiots that are busy saying to you, this is what you could get if you come with me. You'll be a mom. This is what you could get if you come with me. You'll have your own home. This is what you'll get if you come with me. You'll be a wife. This is what, God is saying. It's like they're standing in the middle of a desolate wasteland trying to make a family. But what's rather going to come is calamity. I have seen myself heavily pregnant in a dream because this guy was forced to get. So you can understand what these guys are trying to do and how it's not going to give and how this is the end. I've had a dream of it being a dystopia where it's a police state and we were running away from a system that was trying to catch all Christians. And I was heavily pregnant with this guy's baby. Essentially, God was showing me, these people want you to settle, to compromise, to walk away from me. But at the time of you busy out, you're popping your first 2 lines on a pregnancy test. And you are just being happy that, woo, I'm pregnant, because you settled, you compromised, you allowed yourself to walk away from me. That's when I'm going to take the body. And that's when the rapture is going to happen. And that's when the body of Christ is going to have to the one that now is getting born again after the rapture happens. That's when they're going to have to run from pillar to post. And I told you in my Bible that it's going to be a horrible time in that time for pregnant women and nursing mothers. So you don't want to be out here getting pregnant with some dude with whom you compromised because you walked away from me, because you did not believe my promises, and because you were scared that I'm not coming for another 20 years. You will fall pregnant. And just at that stage, while you are busy growing a baby in your stomach, rapture. And then it's going to be a horrible time for pregnant women and nursing mothers. You're going to be running from pillar to post. You are going to basically have a really hard time being pregnant. Anybody that is pregnant in that time. If anything, the rapture, there would never be a pregnancy that stays in my stomach. If at all I were to have it at the time of the rapture, I'd be left behind, however. But God was showing me the futility, rather, of trying to build a family and get married real quickly. It would be like the tantamount of being in some kind of a dystopia, heavily pregnant. Not eating enough food, not getting your folic acid, everything that a pregnant woman needs. You are waddling around like a ducky. You've been disadvantaged by the pregnancy. Your survival is that much lowlier because of your pregnancy. And also, because of your pregnancy, it increases the likelihood of you taking the mark of the beast. These people want to get me left behind and me out here fornicating still in the tribulation. In an era like that. Just going right ahead and do things that don't make sense, that are unseemly to me. The Lord was showing me how close we are to the rapture. Such that Lomuntu that feels ingati you're going to have your first child, you are going to finally get to enjoy the glory of being a mom. God is showing me a time is coming when the world is going to be like that. It's going to be that desolate. The sun is going to be turned to black as sackcloth. The moon will be turned into blood. The sky will become black. because of Apollyon, the Abaddon, the king of the bottomless pit. That smoke that comes from the bottomless pit is going to make the world dark. And God, during the day, and during that time, apparently me, I must enjoy a baby. God was telling me, honey, you might be scared that you're not going home. You might be nervous that there's another 50 years to go. You might be scared, wishing that you were born so early that at least you were a young person in the 70s or 80s, because then you would have gotten your turn and your wada fish paste. But bottom line is, this is it. This is what I've called you for. You are an end times believer. You are my child to urge you, give prophecy of what is coming. These things are going to happen, and they're going to happen in your lifetime. I told you, you are Naaman. You are going to get dunked 7 times, 7 seasons in the River Jordan, and then come back looking like a baby. It's happening in your lifetime. Do not be scared. Why was the baby's head decapitated in my dream? The Lord was showing me that the tribulation is going to be so bad that women who get caught by the Antichrist system with their babies are going to be beheaded when they reject the mark of the beast. And their moms, because of the moms what is this? The Lord showed me that how it is that they're going to deal with infants. They're going to have to choose to take the mark of the beast. No one can take the mark of the beast. No one can be given it without them being aware that they're actively taking it. So from a certain age, kids can say, yes, I want it. Like from 4, 5, they can say, yes, I want it. From 3, 4, 5, they can say, I want it. They are going to be given an opportunity to make an informed decision about this, and if they take it, they will literally at that little age be irredeemable. But for babies, God was showing me that babies, the decision for the mark in babies, for who is this, what do you call this thing, for the lost. These kids are going to be allowed to get to a certain age and then choose to take the mark of the beast. They're not going to automatically have it in their hands or in their foreheads. They're going to have to choose. God is not going to let newborn babies just be imposed on the mark of the beast. They're going to have to basically get to a certain age. But remember, this mark of the beast is in the midway mark of the tribulation, and it's going to linger for 3.5 years. So they're gonna wait for kids that can't make their own decisions to essentially get to a place where they're like, I'll take it or I won't take it. In which case they're gonna feed them. But kids who belong to Christians, babies who belong to Christians, babies who basically get weeded out from caves and wherever it is that forests, bushes, wherever it is that believers may be at, without even awarding them a second shot, and also as a means to torment their parents to take the mark of the beast, they're gonna get beheaded. Maseya, like as a newborn. The Antichrist is gonna be cruel, guys. In my dream, this dude was holding a baby, and a projectile came out of nowhere and chopped this baby's head off. And I was shocked out of my mind. When I woke up, I was like, why was the baby's head chopped off? Mind you, the baby was also wearing white clothes with a white beanie. It was innocent, and its head got chopped off. I asked God why. What was with the violence of that? God was like, that's how cruel the tribulation is going to be. When parents are found with their kids, and when they're found with Maseya, they're not even going to give these children that belong to Christians time. They're going to use these children as something to get to the moms and the dads, to cause the moms and the dads to take the mark of the beast. They're literally going to put their 1-year-old, their 2-year-old in front of a guillotine and be like, will you take the mark or not? Because if you don't take it, this kid is going. And then they're going to chop the kid's head off. And the parent is then going to have to be like, okay, fine, I'll take it. Or no, never. My kid is with Christ. I guess I'm next. And then sing a hymn. Basically, the tribulation is going to be so cruel. The height of cruelty is going to be unprecedented. And you are not going to believe what in the world you're enduring. And the Lord showed me that they're going to decapitate even the heads of newborn babies belonging to Christians, which is why I have counseled before that if you find yourself in the tribulation, what is this that I'm looking for? If you find yourself in the tribulation and you are married, you and your husband are in the tribulation, don't have sex. There's no medication for anything. For thrush, y'all, I have not been sexually active for 13 years. and I have not had vaginal thrush for 13 years. Like, there are benefits to abstinence, okay? You have such health down below. You have such extreme, like, it's just breezy down there. When you don't have sex, there are, what do you call this? There are less pathogens going in your canal up there, whatnot, right? There are less germs. So therefore, you don't have to keep on using douches. You don't have to keep on using, what do you call this? Thrush medication. You don't have to keep on getting flare-ups of anything. And of course, STDs are something that is completely avoidable altogether. So do not have, and again, there's a reason why women do pap smears once every 6 months when they are sexually active. It is because sex brings pathogens into that canal until such time that a cancer can form. So therefore, if you avoid sex, you avoid a plethora of basically vaginal health issues. That's why I gave counsel in one of my older videos that if you find yourself in the tribulation with your husband, yes, fine. Legally, under God's law, you can lay with your husband, but there is no medication in the tribulation that you're going to have easy access to. There is no toilet paper that you're going to have easy access to. Literally, hygiene is going to be hard. So therefore, just don't have sex. You're going to struggle to take regular showers. Do not expand on your passions out of frustration. And then next thing, find yourself itchy without meds, because then it's going to frustrate you. If you're going to be running away, if you're going to be packing bags, if you're going to be doing whatever, if you are going to be from pillar to post, you do not want to be from pillar to post also itching. So avoid vaginal thrush, avoid bacterial infections, all different kinds of flare-ups, like whatever can happen down there. Make like Karabo and be celibate, like, yeah, free and breezy. Like, you don't got no issues. I have not had issues since I became celibate. I've not had a single in 13 years issue of a female hygiene nature, like for 13 years, because of celibacy. Take that counsel from me, seeing as you insist on staying behind. Don't have sex. It's only 7 years, and even then some of y'all are not even going to make it to the 2nd year mark. You're not going to make it to the 3rd year mark. You're not going to make it to the 4th year mark. You're going to be out getting clobbered by plagues. So you're probably only going to be around for jara, and trust me, if I can do it for 13 years, you can do it for at most 7. At most 7. So yeah, those are the dreams that I got. And so God is basically confirming to me that He gets it, but there's no need for me to be scared. Battle Foster, like He told me, all the way up until the rapture. And I will flounder, I will doubt, I will second guess, and I will also start thinking that I'm no different from the dude that wrote 88 reasons as to why the rapture is in 1988. I will believe that until it becomes clear that we indeed are the last generation. No, there's not going to be transhumans walking around, because that's not in the Bible. That's not in the Bible. And at the rate that things are going right now with Elon Musk's Neuralink, we're 5 seconds away from transhumanism becoming a reality. God is not going to let things get to that level of singularity. Concerning human indiscretion alongside artificial intelligence indiscretion, there is too much human evil right now for it to be just left festering. We are at the end. We are at the cusp. We are at the place where if God does not intervene, it will become insufferable. No flesh would be saved. No human beings would remain. There would be too much meshing, too much human cloning, too much human experimentation. There would be too much evil. I mean, look at what's going on in the black community. Like, almost every marriage in the black community is made up of somebody ojisitsweng, while the other person is out here just being a little bit of a megalomaniacal creep over an unfortunate puppet on a string. Like, there's too much evil for it to continue much longer. We are at the height. We have reached a cup. It is at a brim, you guys. So we are going home. Therefore, there is no need for me to be scared that we're going to be here another 12, 13, 50 years with me out here just getting old and these people freezing me to obscurity. I'm going to get rescued, and no, I will not commit suicide. I told you, before I die, the Lord is going to rapture me. But everybody that's out here trying to impoverish me and make me lonely until I give up, Hashem. Typical. You are doing a thing that is very typical because you have accepted for a norm. Le nwa dintho tse tshwantse di sa kene mo ramolomo wa motho mara di a kena, because motho a teng go reketse Oreo McFlurry ya ko McDonald's mara we kentse santinyana, and next thing you're in love and unable to leave a relationship. Ke di relationships tsa lona tseo le senyetsana di business le nkana di good career. My friends did this to my life, y'all. My former friends, my family. Ha ke na next, ha ke na mosebetsi, ha ke na ntja, ha ke na katse, okay, ke na katse, ha ke na bophelo. And abantu are standing back doing absolutely nothing about my life. The siblings taka di busy kana. My family, wait guys, wait again. People are busy. And they expect me to just accept impilo and jena because at least I got fam, I got people. That's not how it's supposed to be. Life is supposed to be abundant, not this rubbish. Ratamai. I don't have to be Sade after giving birth to a child that's gonna one day say Ugutibona, they feel like they're a girl when they're a boy, or they're a boy when they're a girl. I don't have to be a person living in a better time that, however, is raising a child up in a time that is frankly insufferable. I don't have to be that. The world is over. Therefore, in closing, I would richly call you to repent or perish. I didn't want to do a video today. I did it, and now it's past midnight, and I gotta go and shower busikhuso. But it's okay, because I got something off my chest. I hope I don't get given grief. Gondlung. I hope you've been edified. I'm signing out in Christ's name, Kranke. Peace.